ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Wrestle Plug. I am here to quickly review AEW Dark, so let's get down to it. The Natural Nightmares, of course. Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall went over the Dark Orders, Silver and Reynolds. So, first of all, the Dark Order. I still maintain that they're rubbish. I do. Other than Brody Lee, this gang of misfits is crap. It has really no credibility. And honestly, if you took Lee out of it, nobody would give a hoot. Especially with Stu Grayson and Eva Luno not being around. So, you know, the only intrigue for me from this match was the fact that Allie was eating one of QT Marshall's apples rather suggestively, which I thought was quite saucy. Oh yes, really appreciated that. Liked the chemistry, liked the psychology as well. Love QT Marshall, who's kind of swooning over him. Brandy's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get your ass in the ring." Loved it. Thought it was great. Pretty obvious though. One of my biggest criticisms of this Dark was the fact that not necessarily that you could predict very easily who was going to win, because I understand that the stars really should be put over predominantly, but it was the fact that a lot of these matches, you didn't get a chance to see enough of these people. And if we're going to see them more regularly, or if AEW is going to consider bringing them in more long term, I would like to see a little bit more offense. I would like to see a little bit more of what they can do. Silver and Reynolds have been around for a while, to be fair. Don't really care. Don't care. Dark Order hasn't worked that well, so I don't see why anyone in that faction other than Brody Lee is going to work. Speaking of which, the Battle of the Jobbers. Michael Nakazawa beats Brandon Cutler via countout. Bit of a shady looking count-out, to be honest, and Taz was very on the money with his commentary. Really enjoyed, by the way, Taz and Excalibur as a commentary team. Hot take. I actually prefer listening to them as a pairing than I do the three-man booth of JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur. I just feel like there's a much better dynamic when you've got a clear play-by-play guy and a clear colour commentator. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I think they work well. I think they've got good rapport on the mic as well. I think they're very funny together, very entertaining. Really enjoy it. Actually enjoy Taz a lot more as a colour commentator than I did on SmackDown back in the day with Michael Cole. I think he's just really settled into this role nicely, and obviously the fact that he's going to be Brian Cage's manager going forward, good stuff. But yeah, again, I actually like this match. I actually thought this was the best match I've seen Nakazawa have. I actually think Brandon Cutler has got a lot more to offer than just being some jobber who loses all the time. I thought he looked really good in this match. Love that springboard elbow to the outside. I think he's got so much potential. I know that a lot of people say, oh, he's only got a job because of the Young Bucks. That's not fair at all. The man's clearly talented, clearly a very capable wrestler, as was everybody on this card. This was probably the most competitive matchup as well, which is very strange to say. You wouldn't think so, but I really liked it. Obviously, Brandon Cutler loses again. I think that's unfortunate. I think Brandon Cutler deserves a bit more crack. And hopefully he'll get an opportunity down the line, because I actually think he's got a really good look, like his ring gear. Love his entrance as well. I'm not a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, personally, but yeah, worked for me. Straight off the back of this, Peter Avalon comes out for his match with Jungle Boy, gets in Brandon Cutler's face. The gimmick running here that, you know what, you're a bigger loser than I am, you're shitter than I am, even though neither of us win matches, which is kind of funny actually, kind of like it. Again, I think Peter Avalon, wildly underutilised. I think he's very funny. I think he's very good at what he does. He had a fantastic interview actually on Chris Jericho's podcast, which I really urge people to go and listen to. And he's got a lot to offer. He's a good wrestler. He's got a great understanding of psychology. He doesn't mind playing the idiot. I think having Laver in his corner. I hated the librarian gimmicks at first, but it's kind of grown on me. It has. It's one of those things, if you just let it sit for a while, it does tend to grow on you. Jungle Boy's obviously going to win this match, and that's not a problem to me. I actually thought the match was very good. I thought it was reasonably competitive as well. I think Avalon looked really good, and I think just, if anything, kind of proved my argument that he should get more ring time as far as I'm concerned. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. Avalon, of course, losing, which is, never a problem. But I really like it. I would really like to see Avalon go further. Now, Jungle Boy came down with Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt. I get that, Jurassic Express. One thing that really fucking pissed me off, is probably the one thing that I can really say I hated, was the moment where Marco Stunt did the whole, I'm going to kiss Leva Bates because that's going to make her look stupid. I hate that. I absolutely detest that spot. And I know people are going to call me sensitive, but come on, it's 2020 and you're forcing a kiss on a woman. That's, number one, stupid and trashy. And frankly, anyone who's going to try and defend that to me, I have to seriously question your attitude towards it. I know it's supposed to be a bit of fun, but come on, it's pathetic. And I know people are going to say, oh, yeah, but it's Marco Stunt. Doesn't matter. It's still a man. Albeit a very, very small man. It's still a man. I just think it was trashy, needless, and it didn't add anything at all to... It's almost like, haha, she got her comeuppance because the midget forced a kiss on her. Garbage. Absolute garbage. These are the kind of tropes that I used to see back in the Attitude Era. Do you know what else I used to see in that era? And don't get me wrong, I love the Attitude Era, but do you know what else I used to see? Bra and panties matches. Don't really want to see those now, do we? This is just another one of those garbage throwaway things that's lazy and doesn't be needed. And if you're going to be one of these progressive woke fans who's out there saying that, oh, you don't need to swear and say such horrible things to garner heat, well, on the flip side of things, you don't need to force a kiss on a woman, do you, to garner some sort of face heat? It's garbage. It is. It's trashy. It's not necessarily Marco Stunt's fault. I'm sure somebody directed that idea. Whoever came up with that idea, it just needs to be put in their place a bit. It needs to be told, no, it'd be a bit more progressive, especially when you got Brandy Rhodes on her social media talking about how, we've got this AEW heels thing where they're trying to bolster the image and try and improve the, relativity of women's wrestling. And to be honest, up until recently, AEW has had a real problem promoting women's wrestling the right way. And this Dark, not only did it severely lack women's wrestling, but other than the excellent one-on-one match, which I thought Penelope Ford had, there wasn't much to get your teeth into. So the last thing I want to see is this. Sorry, but I thought it was trash. It's absolute garbage. But nonetheless, shouldn't take away from an excellent match. And I think Avalon is really underrated and really underappreciated. I want to see more of him. I really do. Christopher Daniels beat Serpentico. Really like Serpentico. Like the look, like the style, like the gimmick, everything. Didn't get to see enough of him. Again, this match was too short. I like Christopher Daniels, and it's always lovely to see Christopher Daniels wrestle. He's genuinely one of my favourite all-time wrestlers, but it's too short. Too short. I mean, like I say, if you're going to see these guys later down the line, give me more of an opportunity to be invested. Don't just throw them out there to be kind of hit with all the specials. A lot of these matches, it felt like they were playing a video game, like a WWE 2K or whatever, Fire Pro Wrestling, and it was just a case of, hey, the top guy goes out there. It's one of your early matches, when you bury a jobber or something. And you just think, okay, that's fine. I understand these guys are here predominantly to be jobbers, inverted commas. But at the same time, I didn't get to see enough of them. Didn't get to see enough of their personality, what they could do. It's not helped, obviously, by a lack of an audience either. That obviously doesn't help. And that's completely out of everyone's hands. So nobody's getting critiqued for that. But decent enough match for a complete filler match, but I'd like to see a little bit more, especially if you're going to be in the ring with a general like Christopher Daniels. Could have really helped benefit Serpentico a lot more. I know that I'm probably going to be in a minority and people are going to say, who gives a shit, they're jobbers, but just for my money, I would like to see more. I'll tell you what I would like to see more of: Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss in the tag team division. I love these two. They're so charismatic, so fun, so exciting, so sexually overt. I love it. Everything about it is so different and unique. Totally different to anything else they've got in the tag team division as well. The only problem is the tag team division is utterly stacked as it is. So throwing in more tag teams that are singles, guys and girls, not really feeling that. They went over an interesting team. Brady Pierce and John Skyler just felt like a couple of guys who had been brought in to do a job. They didn't really add anything to the match. I actually quite like the look of Brady Pierce. Big, powerful, but moved really well. But again, didn't see enough of him. That being said, out of the matches that didn't last very long, this one I enjoyed a little bit more than the others, just because Janela and Sonny Kiss are so wickedly charismatic and so much fun. Commentary as well, giving Janela the business over the bandana that was kind of tied into his hair or whatever. I loved it. Loved all of it. I thought it was great fun. And yeah, like even in a job match, Janela and Sonny Kiss are always worth your attention. I really love that tag team. Would love to see more of them. Really would. Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc beat Tony Donati and the Monarch of Manliness, Fabu Andre. What a collection of reprobates this match was. Gotta say, Tony Donati, whose music is that from? That's bloody amazing. Is that your indie music, or did AEW come up with that? I love that. That was probably one of the biggest pops I got of the night, and Excalibur and Taz were all over it as well, saying it could. I don't think it could possibly topple Judas Vet, but it was good. I really liked it. I was like, oh, banger. Love that sort of stuff. Thought it was good fun. Match was alright. I actually quite like Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian as a team as well, obviously being a Brit. It's always good fun to see your fellow countrymen having a good time and whooping some ass. Really enjoyed that. Some of their tag team combinations as well were pretty sick. Love the shout out to LDRS, of course, Marty Scurll and Zack Sabre Jr., the leaders of the new school generation. Really, really cool. Yeah, again, too short. Didn't really get to see enough of the guys. I really thought that these two would possibly have something to them as well. They look like very charismatic guys, very different. They felt a little bit FBI-like. You know, that kind of wavy, greasy hair and the charisma. And I honestly thought, you know, like a couple of cheeky boys from down the road. Didn't really get to see much of them, unfortunately, other than that banging entrance music. So it is what it is. But I enjoy Sabian and Havoc, and I really like the dimension of Penelope Ford as well at ringside. The way that her and Kip Sabian interact is phenomenal. Obviously, being a couple in real life, just I think they're lovely together. I think they really work well. I think they're fantastic at what they do, and each of them brings something different to their character as well. Whereas Kip Sabian can be just full on obnoxious, Penelope Ford is a little bit more like a sort of smouldering presence. I really like that. Really good. I'm going to talk about Penelope Ford in a minute. Lee Johnson versus Colt Cabana. They kept banging on, right? This is where commentary kind of leads you astray. They told us that Lee Johnson was this phenomenal character. Oh, he's been brilliant. He's been on fire in AEW. Okay, let's see what he can do. Oh, he's got a couple of decent moves. Oh, never mind. He's just lost again. Like, you can't come out here, hype these guys up to hell, and then have them lose so quickly. Now, Colt Cabana is really fun. He's infectious. I think he's one of those guys that you just always enjoy wrestling. If you like Colt Cabana, you'll watch him forever. You know, he makes you smile. He's very happy. He's a fun wrestler. And I love his arsenal of crazy roll-ups. That one he did in the corner, where he sort of wrapped his legs around and flipped over with the... Oh, it was just cool. Very cool. It's almost like you're watching him do that very old-school European style of grappling with some very North American style and eccentric entertainment. It's very cool. Very cool combination, but again, you know, he taps out Lee Johnson rapidly with a Billy Goat's Curse, which I love the name of as well. But I just thought, okay, I've just been told that this guy... Now, admittedly, I haven't watched much of Dark. This is one of the first times I've really sat down and watched Dark properly since sort of the first couple of episodes. I gotta say, I think Lee Johnson, you know, I'm sure he's wonderful, but I didn't see anything to suggest that he's that good. And I quite like Taz on commentary. He was like, well, he can't be that good because he's lost every match he's had. Saying someone's got potential is great, but if we don't see much of that potential, why are we supposed to care about these guys? That's the problem. They don't need to have a massive amount of offense, but I also feel like if they don't have any, how am I supposed to be intrigued or get any kind of emotional feeling towards these characters? I just don't. You know, there's nothing there that makes me think, oh, you know, I want to be invested in this guy going forward. Not yet, at least. Penelope Ford versus Carlin King looked like it might buck the trend a little bit. Two very good looking women with very, very good personalities. Really like Carlin King. This was her debut. I thought this contest was a little bit more decent, but again, too short. Too short. I know it's a filler kind of thing, and this is pretty much like their version of an early NXT, you know, developmental sort of stuff. But even then, you know, when NXT was in its early developmental days, it had some very good competitive matches. None of these matches felt that competitive, and this one didn't feel that competitive. You know, Carlin King had a real size to her, a real presence, also a really good talker. And yeah, just, you got a little taste of it, but as soon as you got a little taste, boom, you were shut down. Don't get me wrong, I think Penelope Ford looked great in this match, and I actually think she's wickedly underrated because she tends to be the jobber, again, inverted commas, of the main roster. You know, whenever she's kind of out there wrestling with this sort of main event level people, the Sheedas and Nyla Roses and that, she's always kind of doing the favour. But at the same time, I think she's actually got a lot more than that. She kind of feels a little bit like Liv Morgan does on Raw for me. Somebody who could, with the right direction and with a little bit more creative control, really could go far. Really excited to see what they can do with Penelope Ford. And like I say, with Kip in the corner as well, really like it. It reminds me a little bit of when Tyson Kidd was in Natalia's corner. Only a little bit, but it just, that kind of obnoxious boyfriend, like, yeah, you know, my partner's kicking ass, yeah, you also. I like it. Simple and effective. Very, very fun. Really enjoyed it. Like to see more of Carlin King. Thought she really had a great presence about her, and that's somebody who, if you can just polish her up a little bit, could genuinely look like somebody who could step into a more main event role in Dynamite. I really believe that. She had a great physique, great power, great presence. Once again, just want to see a little bit more so that I can be emotionally invested. And the main event, I must admit, I was really excited to see Best Friends, who I think have been fantastic. They've been the workhorses, especially Trent, of this era of no fans, this pandemic era of wrestling. I think Best Friends have been phenomenal. They've been just having knockout matches regularly. You know, they had that wonderful match with Michael Nakazawa and Kenny Omega. I know Trent had an amazing singles match with Kenny Omega. They've been running over all of the competitions, so to speak, in the tag teams. They had that great match at the buy-in for Double or Nothing with Private Pie. And they're up against two guys that I actually like the look of, and I'm very excited about, Alan Angels and Sean Dean. Now, this match was really good, but just as it felt like it was getting into a real good territory of, oh, this could be a real banger of a match, boom, got shut down, and the match ended. And I think that was a shame. I know that Alan Angels caused a lot of controversy with people, not necessarily directly, but when he had a match with Kenny Omega on Dynamite, it was very competitive. Alan Angels is legitimately one of the better independent wrestlers in North America. He really is. He's so talented. And you got a little bit of a taste, but that was it. Just a little taste. It was like an entree of great wrestling. This is what it was like at being a private party. See what I did there? Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'll get my coat. This was like somebody coming over with a tray of entrees going, would you like to try one of these, sir? And you think, that's very tasty. And then when you go for the main course, like, sorry, sir, you want to get an entree? What? Where the fuck's my main course at, bruv? That was basically how this felt, this match. It's a shame, because as the main event of the, episode, so to speak, I would have liked to have seen this go about 10 minutes longer, and it would have been absolute top-notch, top quality. Both guys look really good. Sean Dean and Alan Angels, but particularly Alan Angels. If you're looking at all of these wrestlers, and you had to force me into a corner and say, right, Aeron, tell me who you think is going to be a star out of this crop, Alan Angels is the guy I pick. He's incredible. He's got a good attitude about him. He can convey a character, great psychology, but his athleticism is just phenomenal. I mean, I know Kenny Omega can quite literally have a good match with an inflatable doll if he wants. But that being said, Alan Angels looked more than credible in the ring with Kenny Omega, and that's not easy to do. It's easy maybe to have a good match with him. It's not easy to look on a par with him athletically. And I felt like Alan Angels did a great job against Kenny Omega. That's where he first came to light for me. He's also wrestled Kenny Omega on the Indies in a phenomenal contest. But for me, I feel like he's the guy that they should be thinking, right, we need to snap this kid up. He's got a lot of potential, a lot of excitement. Because there's a lot of guys on the main roster who, let's be honest, aren't really doing jack shit. I look at a guy like 10 in the Dark Order. Sorry, but they're just a bunch of dorks. It's a terrible gimmick for me. It really is. I don't like to shit on things unnecessarily, but I think that gimmick is utterly terrible. I really do. Other than Brody Lee, who's fantastic. But 10 looks like a genuine contender. Good looking guy. Shame that his name is the number. It's just, what's the point? But he's a college athlete, college football standout, so to speak, track athlete, whatever it may be. Why can't Alan Angels be in a position like this? Maybe Dark Order, maybe if they're going to continue to persist with this gimmick, turf a load of these gibbons out and put some of these guys in. Put Sean Dean in there, put an Alan Angels in there. And also, don't put them under masks. I know it's supposed to be a cult, but it's fucking lazy and it's boring. It really is. I'm sorry. I know people listening love the Dark Order. I don't. I think it's lazy. And the thing is, right, their promos, fantastic. Their leader, fantastic. There's plenty to be happy about when it comes to talking about the Dark Order, but the problem is there's way too much flim-flam and riffraff. Why am I supposed to care about Reynolds and Silver if they just go out there and get battered all the time like little bitches? Why should I care about that? I don't. Whereas, if you put Alan Angels in there, Sean Dean, if you take the mask off and say, hey, these guys have character, all of a sudden there's a little bit more investment in them. You can build storylines. Maybe someone like a Stu Grayson could be like, I feel like I'm above this. I feel like I'm better than just being some twat who runs around doing your bidding. I feel like I should have more of the pie, so to speak. There's plenty of potential there. Maybe that's what they're going to do down the line. But at the moment, it doesn't look fantastic. And when I see guys like Alan Angels working the way they do, I'd like to see more of that. But it is an hour and a half of free wrestling on YouTube, which is great, which means that everyone can watch it. It's not region blocked, and I'm looking at you, Impact. What the fuck is that all about? Can't watch Impact live in the UK because it's region locked on Twitch. Good job. And I know the nerds are going to be like, gosh, a VPN. That's not the point. The reality is that wrestling should be made accessible so that people can see it. And AEW have done a phenomenal job of that for the most part, at least in my book. I found it very easy to access AEW, whether that be paying $5 a month to watch Dynamite, watching Dark for free on YouTube, which most people in this day and age have access to quite easily, whether that be on their TV or their smartphone device, and their pay-per-views are relatively easy to get as well on Fight. Haven't had too much of a problem with them, and there's always been streams available, etc, etc. So I think, like, you know, having this product on YouTube as kind of byproduct to get people warmed up for the major product, which of course is tomorrow night, Dynamite, which is of course looking like a banger itself, is a really good idea, and I really like that. So for anyone who did watch AEW Dark, please like and subscribe, please share the video wherever you can, but most importantly, leave us a comment right below and let us know what you thought of AEW Dark. Do you agree? Do you think the Dark Order's shit? Is there anyone of this long list of talents that you would like to see signed up and be a more regular part of All Elite Wrestling? There's only one way to find out, and there's only one way to let us know, and that is of course to leave a comment below. But most importantly, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you've got this far. If you have, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the notifications bell as well, so you can get a notification on everything going forward that we're going to be releasing. Plenty more content to come, but most importantly, remember to hashtag get plugged in and look after yourselves in a very difficult time. Much love, gang.